Oh, what's up, spectators? Welcome back. Now, before I say anything, if you may have noticed my audio quality has been shoddy in this series for about the past week, and there is a reason. Well, I don't know the exact reason, but something was wrong with my microphone, or the USB, or the computer, or the software, whatever it was. I spent hours trying to fix it, and whatever was the issue seems to be gone now. But the audio was really bad. Like, the sensitivity or gain was really high when it shouldn't have been. But now that that's resolved, my voice shouldn't sound like I'm speaking through a radio anymore. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to what we were doing here. Let's see. Ah, yes, we saved our lovely hippie friend from death. Who do I gotta talk to first? Have you met this strange young man before, Lynn? I don't remember, but he said 10 years ago, and this park. It could only be one thing that I can think of. It looks like I'd better talk to Mr. Leaflet here. Okay, one moment. Here in this park, the gods surely control fate. Today, 10 years from that day, we meet once again. What? Okay. If that isn't the power of the gods, then what else is it? It could just be coincidence. But apparently you know our lady detective here. Could you tell us about it? About what happened 10 years ago? Yes, of course. I was actually about to do just that. Then do it. Rock of the Gods. Children of the Elder... you guys don't know that. You don't know what I'm talking about. What's this Rock of the Gods you keep mentioning? Don't you know? It's right there in front of us. Oh, what does it look like again? Oh, poor little fella. Missile! Wait a minute. You say G-O-D-S, but you mean D-O-G-S? Of course not. Don't be silly. This is no time for ridiculous word games. You are standing just above the Rock of the Gods now. Take a good look at that monument. Rock of the Gods, Tempsic Park. The rock is buried in the ground right there. It's been there these 10 years. Ever since that day it flew down from the heavens and showed us a miracle. So this rock you've been talking about is a meteorite. Precisely. It dropped from the sky on that day 10 years ago. Yes, of course. Surely you know all about it. That day, I just happened to be passing through this park. I had no idea that day would change my destiny. The sun was going down, and through the gloom, I heard the scream of a little girl. Eee! That's how kids scream. Eee! Now just calm down and drop that weapon. Stay back. If you come any closer, I'll blap the pound with you, dog, yeah. I peeked out fearfully from the bushes and saw some shadowy figures. I didn't see the face of the criminal clearly. Ooh, my coffee's hot. I knew I should do something to help, but I couldn't move. The tension was so thick it was painful, just when I couldn't stand it any longer. That's when it happened. The sky suddenly burned bluish white. Whoa, my god, it's doing a... Oh my god! I'm running into so many issues today. Okay. It seems like no matter what I'm trying to do, I am running into issue after issue. And the more frequently this happens, the more worried I get that my DS is just gonna crap out. What if it's the DS? Then I'm really screwed, because I can't pay. I can't pay for another one of these special ones that record. Okay. Alright, deep breath. Let's pray everything's fine. Everything's fine. When it crashed into the ground, the meteorite gave off a shower of beautiful fragments. And then I saw it. One of those beautiful fragments pierced into the criminal's back. The judgment of the gods was brought down on the park that day. "10 years ago, that little girl that was you was saved by the Rock of the Gods." Oh my! The Rock of the Gods was given the name Temsik, and still today, it lies sleeping deep in the park's earth. I never knew about this Temsik. I always thought Detective Jowd was the one who saved me. You were very young then, and you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Of course you wouldn't remember. But that's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. It's strange you never heard of it, Lynn. It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what happened. I avoided the news, and I never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it. The meteorite was named Temsik after the name of this park that it fell in. And then the Rock of the Gods was forgotten. Now, an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning the park into a housing site. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day. And so, I've taken up the residence in this park, and I'm trying to appeal to the people. Protect the park, the Rock of the Gods. That is my mission. I see. Ba, 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 ba. I'm taking you with me, Missile. So, 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that, but Detective Jowd on the other hand. There's no way he didn't know about this Temsik thing. And if he knew, and the man died, I took his life. What was that confession of his all about? The Rock of the Gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destinies of many people's lives, like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decide to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I want to ask Detective Jowd. Jowd. Both. Yeah, Jowd. We found the music box, Detective. Good job, Lynn. I knew you would. Once everything been resolved, I had wanted to give this to him. You mean Inspector Cabanela? I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me. Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know. He calls that a knack. Looks more like brute strength to me. Here you are. Oh, why am I reading this? You guys can. You should find scorch marks on the grip. When Special K built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's a kind magicians use. It burns up in an instant and disappears. Why would Special K use something like that? I don't know. Maybe because she's a not leaving any evidence behind it, all that. Nah! In the case report, there were mention of some scorch marks. Don't tell me he just shot himself. Oh. When it happened, Special K was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with the picture. If you remove the picture, you should find scorch marks behind it on the frame too. And those marks should match up with the ones on the gun. In other words, it proves the contraption existed there in that room that day. And it didn't work the way your little girl intended, is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified the design. But that angle was never brought up in court. And so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point. I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jowd. Now we can finally prove that. Thank goodness.
Thank you, Lynn. In those eyes of yours, I see the eyes that little girl from 10 years ago.
That was weird. I quite enjoyed it. Well, nope, I don't care about you. I want to talk to the detective.
Sissel, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone by now without ever having known any of this. This is what I deserve.
I'm making him sound eviler and eviler. His hair looks like French fries. That's fun. That's what I told myself these past 5 years. But things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened. Tonight, I've come into contact with a lot of people's lives and got involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to regain my own lost memories. But things are different now. We're connected to each other somehow. I just know it. And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions, in order to find the truth about us. Fair enough? Fire away. Well, okay. Sissel told me all about it, Detective Yount. About the manipulator. Yes, and it looks like this manipulator really did a number on the minister, too. Please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him. Sissel, do you think that's what happened to me, too? What are you talking about, Lin? Don't tell me.
You're a manipulator. Ah!
It's just the best position to die in. Butt up. Glorious. There was always a part of me that just couldn't believe it. That image of the one who shot me. But now I see the possibility of a new explanation. But who is it, and why did they do it? That contraption was a birthday surprise for Special K's mother, wasn't it? That's right. Something's been bothering me about it. I feel like I know that device from somewhere. No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine. Right? I knew it! See, detective! No, I'm afraid I don't see. I told Detective Yount about it. Told him about seeing the exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place. That's very strange indeed. A junkyard on the edge of town. I've never even heard of the place. And what's more, I've never told a single soul about that contraption. That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? Detective, you must have heard this name before. Tempsick. The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago. You were there.
So you found out about that, did you?
I hear that meteorite saved little Lin's life.
That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lin that day.
But in that case, I don't get it. If it's true, doesn't it mean you didn't steal somebody's life away? What are you talking about? Detective, you told me that 10 years ago. The person who killed the perpetrator in the was you. What? I don't know what that was.
I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away. No question about it. It was entirely my fault. I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite hadn't come. At that point, I was already a murderer.
I'm getting real sick of this asshole's lies. He's lied twice now that he's murdered people, but he hasn't murdered anybody. I'm getting real sick of this detective. Oh, I felt bad. I did it! No, you didn't! You innocent asshole. You were trying to save me. Lin, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really it. On that day, 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place. Yes, in the police headquarters interrogation room. The worst sort of incident. A suspect who was being questioned escaped. I happened to be there in the detective division, so I joined the chase. Fortunately, or I guess unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in the park.
Hold it right there!
I fired a warning shot. I wanted to catch him bad. That warning shot made him panic. At the time, I was a young and green detective, brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. I made him panic and got you involved, Lin. It was all my fault. All I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. I'm so sorry, Lin. I'm so sorry for not killing you and not doing anything wrong and putting all the blame on me for all these years because I'm a lying asshole. So the man who grabbed me that day wait, what? So the man who grabbed me died that day, okay. These last 10 years, I've never forgotten his face. And then a few years after that, when my wife Alma died in such a mysterious way, I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I'd done, which was nothing because a meteorite came out of the sky. This frickin' guy. I painted pictures in my cell, nothing but portraits of people's faces. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life and didn't want to forget. And tonight, I finished my last portrait, the final face I wanted to remember. The final face. The face of the man in the park. I'm the fugitive. That can't be. I saw that painting. I saw the face you painted tonight. It was my face. Are you telling me I was the man in the park that time? That's right. That face of yours is the face I saw 10 years ago. The face of the man whose life I stole, of the man who was pronounced dead at the scene. But hold on, detective. That can't be true. I just met Sissel for the first time tonight. And he died right in front of me. By the way, the name that I know the man in the park that day by, isn't Sissel. From the first minute I laid eyes on you tonight, I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy? Really? You're not gonna explain? You're gonna do this first? Okay. Mr. Minister. Inspector, where are you? Just be quiet and listen. This is our demand. Our demand hasn't changed. The execution must be tonight. Once we've confirmed it's been carried out, we'll release the hostage. What are you talking about, Inspector? And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted. Does it really matter who the hostage is? A life is a life. Even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call. What? What is it, Mr. Minister? You look paler than ever. What in the world? What's going on? The rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fates of many people and started a chain of tragic events. And even now, the chain continues to grow ever longer. Inspector Cabanela's call proved that to us. And the greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me I've been chasing all night? Who am you? Baram you. I'm even further from knowing than when I started. I knew that was coming. And it's perfect timing because I can end this video here at 19.5 minutes or so. So stay tuned for the next episode, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye!